Oh, that's a nice one.
Good morning, everybody.
Nice one.
We're just gonna wait for a few more minutes for a couple more people that are coming into the room today.
On the window.
We might need a couple more chairs. Shuffle chairs around.
Generation.
You know
Generation two, you got
Jason, do you know how many individuals are coming from the trails?
Did you have any, Jim?
Did you see them?
Oh, that'd be
no,
great.
but yeah, I go.
Parker?
Oh,
no.
I was gonna.
Yeah.
Are we? Okay, let's get started. Maybe it's still recording, right? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the March 13th, 2025 Rockingham County Board of Commissioners meeting. We start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. And Commissioner Tom Burrell, lead us off.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Allison.
Yeah,
he was in just the right spot.
He keeps creeping up.
He's a freak.
All right,
old are
so
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, good.
Three.
No, I'm
So, we're gonna start with the attendance. In the room, we have all three Board of Commissioners, myself, Kate Coyle, Commissioner Tombarello, and Commissioner Godu. Also in the room, it's Allison Kivakowski, Jason Henry, Chantel Jaconin, Jude Gates, Katie Casey, and Layla Matilla. In Zoom land, I saw a few people before where our screen, we're having a few technical difficulties, but individuals I see, Erin Coker from the Sheriff's Department, Kathy Stacy, good morning. I see iPhone. Would you like to identify yourself?
You're on mute. How to unmute it.
Did talk though.
How do you unmute it? You hold the space bar.
And it looks like additional attendees. I can read Brett Carey from Tedesco, Kay Madavian from Tedesco. There's another individual. It says TJ Albrio.
Alibrio, yeah.
And we have some new attendees in the room from the Sheriff's Department. Sure. Welcome, everybody. All right, let's get going. We'll begin with RFP openings and awards. The first is an opening for the grease trap and lift station services.
Make a motion, authorize the senior director of facilities planning and IT to review, evaluate proposals and determine the recommendations.
Second.
Any discussion? On the motion, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The next opening we have is for fuel, ULS number 2.
I'll make a motion to authorize the senior director of facilities planning and IT to review, evaluate the proposal and return with a recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? On the motion, Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
And I vote yes. And the next opening we have is the fire sprinkler testing.
I'll make a motion to authorize the senior director of facilities planning and IT to review, evaluate the proposal and return with a recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? On the motion, Commissioner Godu?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have a surplus equipment request pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 28A with regard to the county attorney's office.
I'll make a motion to approve a surplus equipment request pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 28:8-A and declare multiple laptops and desktop PCs as outlined in the detail from the county attorney's office surplus with the items to be properly disposed of.
Second.
Any discussion? think, County Attorney Conway's in court today, but otherwise.
She's coordinated with Robin. We're ready to have them recycled appropriately.
Yeah, block 5 determined that they were all, no good.
Thank you, Jude. Okay, on the motion, Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
And I vote yes. We're moving right on to payroll for March 14th.
Make a motion to approve the payroll expenses in the amount of $1,501,098.67 for the period ending March 8th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? I'll just speak briefly that we are, we're very consistent. When you look at the past, this is the 5th of the past 4 payroll cycles, we're right in line, so it's good to see. On the motion, Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving to commissioners updates. What do you have?
I'm actually gonna review chimes in later on. I'll be able to make sure. I had a conversation with Ken Wild this morning, 7:15, before we went to the state house, and regarding the breaker and a couple other items that I'll probably bring up in new business.
Okay.
I don't have any special updates.
Ongoing union negotiations, those are progressing. It's a busy season, I think, for everybody, both for the commissioners as well as for all department heads and I think pretty much across the campus. So I think this is like, we spent a lot of time together this week, which is both enjoyable but also consuming. So.
You keep it up, I might need a Murphy bed.
I have a room next door. Come on over.
Talk about your.
For you as well. A little bit different.
I already picked out my room.
Great. Just let us know when and I will
You're
put it down
awesome
for you.
I heard Chantel's mattresses are nicer.
I'll give you a double mattress.
She would like the extra number.
Yes.
And I'm old enough to be on Medicare, so you.
In that case, let me know when and I will help you do the process.
All right.
We get a county discount?
No.
Moving forward, we're moving on to the finance office where we have a Harvey Construction off-cycle AP warrant.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 13th, 2025 accounts payable warrant T 250919 payable to Harvey Construction in the amount of $3,562. No, $3,562,000, 464. Let's do it one more.
You're right there.
My glasses are fogging up and I don't even have them. $3,562,464.03 is recommended by the Senior Director of Facility Planning and IT and the Senior Director of Finance.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Godu, take it away.
I know, it's hard to believe that I was
Shocking.
discussing this. I've got, 2 issues, with this warrant. The first one is there is an application for payment for SL Chase Welding and Fabrication for $97,000. And I can't find it in the payout list. I sent a copy to Chuck asking for, if I just missed it or can't find it. It's unusual to see an application for payout and not a list, of the payout. And I don't know, I guess Chuck's not available. Katie, do you know anything
I
about
can
this?
definitely look into it. He didn't forward me the email. I did go through it and it seemed all the winter conditions we had receipts for. If you want to forward me the email, I can look into it and get back to you.
Okay, but we're on the, I suppose if it's not listed, it might not have gotten paid. It's really the concern. It's not extra payment. It's actually a missing payment. I don't know why it was included in our packet. If it's not listed here, and I keep going through and I can't find it, maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. It's a big document. So I have concerns about that. And then, I have concerns about, the list of, expenses that Harvey is asking for reimbursements for, that we do not have receipts for. This warrant totals $48,470.79 of items that we do not have receipts for. I can't support this because of these missing documents.
And do you have anything else, Commissioner Godu?
No, that's it.
Commissioner Tombrilla?
I'm just, I told you that I'm gonna attend Tuesday's meeting. And maybe I'll voice this, I'll bring this with me in this. Because in the long run, I mean, we're on the 11th hour of this building, I would really like us all to be on board with signing the warrants. I know I've been watching the meetings for a couple of years and I see this every other. I'd like to come up with a solution to it, so I will be attending Tuesday's meeting and I'll bring this to see maybe.
The solution is simple. We just have to, as a board, request Harvey to give us all of the receipts. I don't understand why they think they can give us, well, I guess I understand. But they're giving us these, payments, they want reimbursement for these expenses and don't want to give us any receipts because I guess we haven't asked for them. And
Would it be more work and more money if we asked, was that what you and I do?
Yes.
In secrecy, we had a conversation yesterday about this probably coming forward. Is it more work and can they bill us for more?
It's gonna incur a cost, yeah, it's not what they agreed to since the beginning, and it's, you know, like you said, we're 87% through the project, it would be a huge change.
And-
And they have a requirement to hold all documents for 5 years, subject to audit, it's not like they're not it's existent, it's just a ton of work to pull them all together.
And just to step back just for a minute, some of the things you're identifying, the drop one portable, those are porta potties, we see them on site. So it's not like there's no accountability. We, Eversource, and I understand you just want to see the receipts. This has been consistent, but I'd like to just speak a little bit, take a moment and speak about the big picture. We're on time and on budget. We've been talking with, Doug, and he is consistent that we are coming in on budget. We have a GMP, we talked about that before, and the conditions of a GMP is gross maximum price. So we all hear you, we've listened to you, but I think in terms of how the project is going, it is amazing. Thank you. I mean, Jude, you are incredible for managing this and keeping in the progress we've seen, and that we will be on time and on budget as things are looking is just a wonderful thing. Just to touch briefly, I don't know if you guys noticed, we have maxed out the bond. That's notable that we should be. So the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Association, they're very happy because we have used our bond. We're actually it looks like when I was looking at it, we were like 2 million or 1.9 million over that bond figure. That goes into contingent grants and it will be drawn from our lost revenue from ARPA. So anyway, it's just so if you look at it and anybody's looking at it and say, wait, you're over the bond amount, that's because it's coming out of the lost revenue. Just some big picture stuff.
just one small correction. I've read the contract with Harvey, and it specifically says that they will give us all the expenses, and they will give us a monthly report, progress report, which we have not gotten one, and we're missing this document. I'm not really hot on the reporting part. I've seen it from other projects that they've done, how they report. It's awful nice. It's very informative, but we don't get that. But they have already agreed to give us this material. It's just that the board has not seen fit to request that these receipts be presented to us. So
I think in regards to the progress report, I mean, I think every week.
We get the weekly meeting,
Go, I mean, it's
the meeting
actually,
minutes.
it's a pretty good little
Yeah.
meeting where they go through 4x4 and they actually have a pretty good chart where we stand, so. We can get that or we can attend.
We get the meeting minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Our meeting minutes, yeah.
anyway.
To me, but actually the chart where it shows like where we stand with the third floor, Kathy's, where we stand and where we are on the different floors, the sheriff's people, so I mean, I'm gonna go through the.
So, anything further?
Nope.
Okay, on the motion, Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
no,
And I vote yes. Moving on, we have human resources, the wellness event chair massage. This is great.
I'll make a motion to approve an on-site wellness activity with Elms Massage from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Utilizing Signia Wellness Dollars for the amount not to exceed $3,000 as recommended by the Senior Director of Human Resources.
Second,
Discussion?
yes,
Go ahead.
I'm very upset that I'm not available on Monday. When they're gonna do this, but other than that, I think it's a great benefit for the employees.
Maybe
Well,
you should-
we haven't rolled out the dates yet. It's gonna start that week, so we're just getting
Oh.
schedules and stuff, so
There
we'll
might
announce
still-
it. It'll get up.
No possibility.
So so just for everyone in Zoom land or who may watch this later, first of all, this is a great event. We've done it annually. It seems like everybody around the complex really enjoys it. Once we approve it today, then Allison will make the announcement for when, her team will make the announcement about when the availability will be. And Commissioner Godu.
I'll try to adjust my schedule accordingly.
Okay, on the motion, Commissioner Tombrello, Commissioner Godu.
Yes,
And I vote yes. Okay, next wellness event, spring wellness webinar.
There's a motion to approve a voluntary non-work time spring wellness webinar activity and 4 raffle prizes drawing utilizing Signia Wellness Dollars for the amount not to exceed $800 as recommended by the Senior Director of Human Resources.
second,
Any discussion on this motion? Okay, on the motion, Commissioner Godu,
yes.
Commissioner Tombrello, and I vote yes.
Where's the Harvey warrant? Do we have that signature yet?
That hasn't come through yet.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, we'll make
I
it.
signed your name for it.
Yeah.
I might have spelled it wrong.
Okay. Sort of. We're moving on to the Lamprey Healthcare amended reconciliation approval.
I will make a motion to approve an amended reimbursement amount to Lamprey Healthcare, Inc. For $4,769.90 as outlined in the document submitted by the Long-Term Care Services.
Second,
Discussion?
Yeah, if I may.
Please.
So originally we brought it forward on the 20th of February and finance very kindly caught that we shortchanged the amount and that, we divided by too many. So it's just to rectify the amount so that the funds that they were covering for the vacancy in one of our providers, that was agreed to be split to have the correct amount. So it's not an extra cost. It's just to pay the amount that was owed in an error in our math that we didn't catch until finance helped us.
So that reconciliation is just to direct the money in a,
Correct.
that we already approved. We approved the amount. It's just a matter of directing it in the.
Yes.
Okay. On the motion, Commissioner Godu,
yes,
Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes,
and I vote yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have a line item transfer for long-term care
I
services.
make a motion to approve a line item transfer requesting amount of $21,818 dated March 13, 2025. Transferring from dietary equipment expenditure to dietary office expense supplies as recommended by the Senior Director of Long-Term Care Services.
Discussion?
If I may.
Sure.
So in this fiscal budget that we currently have, one of the lines for our small wares was moved. However, the items that we're purchasing don't actually fall within that category, so it is putting us above, we're just about 4,000 and change above that line. So it's just to move this budget line into the correct line so
Category.
that we are able to not go over and utilize the funds how it was intended to keep operations. It just, because of the cost in the item that it was put in, we weren't meeting that threshold. So it's really to just realign it to how it was.
And previously these items for, because it was like cutlery and things like that, that previously was in dietary office expense, but somehow in the last,
Yes,
on the last budget cycle, it got put into.
correct.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Tombrello,
Yes,
Commissioner Godu,
yes,
and I vote yes.
Thank you.
Next, we have a line item transfer in the sheriff's office.
I'll make a motion to approve the line item transfer requesting amount of $63,858 dated March 3rd, 2025, transferring from the sheriff's deputies to outside detail sheriff's deputies and outside details Retirement is recommended by the high sheriff.
Second.
Discussion? Is anybody from?
This is just when we talked about that legislation that came up at the county level about revolving funds, the thing that never happens to us happened to us this year. Where we just had been provided a lot more outside detail work, and a lot more deputies are taking outside detail work due to the fact of constraints in the economy and looking for extra money to pay their bills. And we've also been providing a lot of detail work doing patrol coverage in communities. So there's been quite an abundance of that we've been doing. So this would obviously allow us to continue that. It ends up being offsetting because we do get the bill in, and the county actually, even after because we bill in the admin fee for outside details, even after costs for accounting for maintenance and fuel and roll-up costs for retirement costs, if they're part of the
We should get
Reti-
paid.
yeah, part of the retirement system that can contribute details to it. The county ends up having a small surplus, so actually every hour that the deputies work, there is a surplus to the county.
So is it fair to say that our, we should be seeing more revenues, far
Absolutely.
high,
Oh,
much
yeah.
higher revenue?
Yeah.
It's essentially a pass through. I
Correct.
mean, we're putting it through, but it's a pass through. Okay, any other further discussion?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Godu,
Yes.
Commissioner Tombrello, and I vote yes. Department head updates. We're gonna start in this room because, they're flashing in and out. Allison, do you want to get started today?
Yeah, I'm just busy with, positions, starting to create those requests for positions lists, a lot of budget stuff related to that. We do have Empower, our 450, one of the other 457 providers that, we are affiliated with. Will be in on March 18th outside the Water Tower Cafe. They did a presentation, but they'll also be on site if anybody else have any questions now that they've had the presentation. And it's just a super busy time, and thank you.
Great, thank you, Allison. We're gonna go on the diagonal today. Katie,
All right.
jump in.
So it's business as usual in finance. We are very engrossed in the budget right now, helping different departments navigate that again. We do have a new hire that started this week, which is awesome, an accounting analyst, Phil Lloyd. So if you see him, say hi. Other than that, it's budget.
Imagine your office is pretty busy.
We are busy.
And did you guys have the budget workshop?
We did.
Okay, and how was that?
It was really good.
Great.
It was great. It was really
Excellent.
helpful. Good.
That's wonderful.
Everybody's way under.
Yeah.
When do we get our first peek on the budget?
Our first peak, I believe, I don't have the April 10th.
I mean, if the overall budget is -5, we don't even need to see it.
Bob, you're not dreaming, so.
All right, Superintendent Henry.
And House 130, I don't have much to say except for negotiations and budget, and it just seems like, even though it's a short list here, I'm just seeing busier than I have been in a long time, so it's just all over the map, so that's all I got right now.
Jude, good morning. All's well in facilities. We are also, like everyone else, buried in the budget and trying to get pricing. We're having a hard time getting vendors to come in and give us pricing this year. I'm not sure. I guess it's
Apprehension
just,
about,
yeah,
it's like,
probably. Early this week, Eversource came in to set poles down at the solar field, and the first drill they went down with, they snagged up the wire between well house number 2 and well house number 3, so we lost all our controls.
to well three.
To well 3, our only well right now,
Oh my gosh.
because we can't use 2, it's too close to the building, wellhead protection, and well 4, we just got the permit, so it's not built out yet. So,
Oh my.
our chief got it running manually. Harvey was down there in 3 minutes. It wasn't even their job, but I called him and he came right down. Brought his electrical contractor. They've ordered wire. The wire's on site. They're hooking it back up for us today. So we can go back running in automatic. So it was a temporary catastrophe, but it looks like we're gonna be fine. Long term, I don't know where we're gonna end up. I told Eversource we were giving them all the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll go from there. Other than that, the breaker, as I mentioned to Commissioner Tombrello yesterday, we have the initial pricing, it's about $36,000 for the breaker. We don't have a price yet for a temp generator. So it's likely the expense will probably approach $50,000 for that repair. I'm finalizing things now. I need him to come in and have one more look at it with us to make sure we know exactly what's going to be picked up by the temp generator so that we can make sure the nursing home has what they need.
But that breaker's like 50 years old, right?
1976, it's original.
So
Yeah.
hopefully 50, if
Right.
amortize it over the life
Oh,
of
yeah.
the, yeah.
They're gonna They're gonna service the switchboard at the same time as well, because none of those breakers have really been exercised regularly, so they're gonna have to give everything the once over. There's a new update to NFPA that is actually requiring that, so I'm trying to get pricing to figure out exactly what we need to do in the nursing home and the jail to take care of all the big switchboards, so it's just another budget thing that we're working on, so yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did talk to Ken Weiler, you and I had a conversation yesterday about a couple of things as well. And going forward, it looks like Eversource might be responsible for that, so we're keeping all the bills separated, and there is some guys some of the employees are doing extra work with manual pumping water, so you and I had a brief conversation about just keeping track of that.
Yep.
The other thing, I talked to Ken Weiler this morning, we got on the breaker, so, you know, I always like to get contingency out of the delegation money. And I had a conversation with him this morning, talked about the breaker, and he's on board, so if you keep all that together, we have the May meeting, he said he will support us getting a transfer from the delegation contingency money, so.
Thank you.
I like to call him early in the morning, because they're a little off guard, you know. But he is supportive of it.
Okay.
We've used it before, the boiler one or boiler two,
Yep.
and the fracture broke on that,
Yes.
and so.
Okay,
And that's what it's for. I mean, we put that money in there for unforeseen expenses, and this, we don't know where break is going to. Okay.
Do you have anything?
No.
Commissioner Rath? Thank you, Jude. I
Thank you.
can't believe your team and like even thanks to Harvey for jumping in on this, like, that is truly an emergency situation.
Yep.
If our only well goes down, so
they were awesome. I was so grateful.
so responsive,
Mhm.
makes all the difference, and to your team for keeping it going manually,
Thank you.
really. Sheriff?
Good morning. Continue to be busy as always. I've been spending a little time up in Concord, was up there yesterday supporting the governor on bail reform. They're voting on that today, and hopefully we can start changing the way that we bail these people out. Otherwise than that, just working on our budget. Guys seem to be out there every day, doing their work, and that's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Chantel?
Good morning. Our census at the nursing home is 132. At the assisted living, it is 48. We are in outbreak status still, where we have 2 residents with COVID, no staff, and maybe 1 staff member who has the flu. A couple general updates. The guidance for the memo that's supposed to go into effect in March, they released an updated memo regarding it for the second time on Friday. It's now the end of April, so it gives us more time to kind of get some of those items aligned. My team is currently, there's a 6-session course through one of the educators over this week and next week. That's a more in-depth guide, so we're working through that process. We have our mock survey at the end of this month, going into our survey with the students, so they'll be coming in and doing kind of a mini survey to help us identify any areas to correct moving forward. We are looking at, or have had a few calls with a physiatry group. We have some individuals that go external to a physiatrist that there are companies that'll come internal at no cost to us that bills their insurance. It would eliminate some of our transportation and help with our false numbers, metrics, and general quality of care. So the team is meeting with 2 of those companies now and moving through that. I've used them in the past, and it's a wonderful addition to be able to do that. We are hosting through New Hampshire Healthcare the activities boot camp today in the Hilton. So nursing homes across the state, we're able to send individuals, and it's a kind of like a roundtable of sorts with different educations. We're excited to have them here. Our medical records physician has accepted, so that is very exciting. We're really excited for her to join the team. Other than that, this week has been dietary RFP, budgeting, and negotiations. So Other than that, everything has been normal day to day.
Great. Do we have a sense of when we might come out of outbreak status?
Every time we get close,
Knock on wood.
we get one more, so you have to go 2 weeks without any new positives. So we are at least a week away. Our last positive was last week.
To know. And I think it is worth highlighting that you're at 132. Superintendent's at 130. So, Tom, it looks like there are more beds available.
I'd have to have really a lot, you know.
I'll still find space.
Yeah, right.
Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning. Not much to report over here, business as usual. I did yesterday testify on a bill with regards to lobbying again, but this was a non-germane amendment on another piece of legislation that I came across. But basically trying to dissolve NHMA, number one. The other thing was not allowing organizations like our Association of Counties, Association of Counties to be able to have a lobbyist. So we'll see how that goes. They're going to exec it next week, so I'll be watching that closely. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, anyone else in the room or out of the room that would like to comment? Okay, moving on, we have new business, old business. Does anybody have any new business?
None for me.
I'd like to bring up something regarding, so I had a conversation this morning with Ken Weiler, and the ICE thing has been coming my way. We obviously got an email from an individual from Portsmouth yesterday that I actually talked to this woman on the phone. So I got a call from a former elected official. I'm getting calls from state reps. They really want us to look at ICE more than we are. So I'm gonna be requesting to just see if we can bring the ICE people back in. The woman actually should have brought up a big point, and I'll forward you the email about 287. As far as your aspect of it going forward with you folks apprehending them. So there's a bunch of unsolved questions, and I think for us to do our due diligence, I think they've offered to come here and talk to us. I spent 6 hours there. They didn't even offer us a drink of water. We'll give them a water. I would like to have them just come in, because if we're gonna, it's being a topic. We brought up the other day in Concord at the Primex. Rockingham County was actually looking into it, Hillsborough looking into it. I just think we need to look into it. I'm not saying I'm for it at all, but I think at least if we bring them in and we make a decision, yes or no, I don't think it hurts to bring them in. I'm not saying that I'm for it. I just think I'd rather say that we looked into it a little more before the heat comes in. They're saying, the comment is that we're refusing to make revenue. And I think we'll catch heat as three commissioners if we don't at least do our due diligence and let them talk about it. So I would request that we at least allow them to come in.
Do you want to?
I will agree that if ICE would like to come and join us and lay out a presentation so that we better understand what their request is, I'm all for that. But at first look, I don't see a benefit to the county to bring in ICE detainees. They will pay for it, but we have had our challenges staffing corrections. We're doing well right now. This might require us to double the staff. It's not like we're gonna get a couple of people in and not have to pay any extra, or put on any extra staff, and then all of a sudden we get a profit. I know profit's not really the right word, but I don't see big revenue. I just don't see the advantage to Rockingham County, but I'm open to listening and hearing whatever they have to say, whatever the presentation is, but I just don't see the benefit at the moment.
I think it's important to note that we are in the midst of opening up a new building, which is where we are going to, we have to staff it. We have new programming with corrections over with the community corrections program. And this has been an objective of our county that where we've seen a huge lack of sort of resources for drug treatment and substance misuse treatment and all sorts of things. And so we have collectively all made the decision, and the department heads worked so hard to have this open up get this new building up and running. And that should be our focus right now, because that is county government and that's what we're intended to do. And in terms of I know, and so I think every correctional facility or has their own unique considerations. And with my primary consideration right now, one of them is that we make sure that we have what our buildings up and running, including, and Superintendent Henry, I mean, we're talking about delaying running that having everybody fully operational over there until we get, our staff trained up and ready to go. So it would be, I think, a real misstep on our parts to build this building and not be able to properly run our programming over there, because we have to take on a different consideration of responsibility that is not tied to what we're here for, which is kind of business.
I completely agree with that assessment of what my priorities are. Superintendent?
So whatever you guys make for decision, I can do both. And we have more staffing than other facilities. We're doing very well. Only reason why I'm waiting a year is because of letting other people get into that building. There's gonna be a huge increase in costs. With what we have for staffing, we will be able to do both. They don't need a double staffing or along those lines. We have staffing to do that with what we're already allowed to have. So some of those things are fine. We have the ability to do it. We have the space. We're more compassionate, I believe, and do a better job taking care of individuals in other places. So for us, it would not be, it's work on our end because it's compliance issues, which is fine, which we're working towards anyways. That's the big lift. It's matching their policies and making sure that we're on those regs, which we are already working towards, because we already had a pre-inspection done by Nakatomi Group, which was great, opened our eyes to things that we really need to take a look at. But it weren't heavy lift stuff. It's stuff like, yeah, we probably should be doing that. I just let you know from the jail's perspective, we can handle this. Whatever the commissioners choose to do.
Right, so I have a question on that. Are you suggesting that if we got another 150 detainees, that we would not have to add staff or to our?
Not my ones that are we already have budgeted enough staff.
For how many detainees?
Remember, we have closed units.
Right.
So we have enough staff that is actually in the budget to cover, so we don't need to add more staff on. They're just filling up those 2 units that we have closed. So we have enough that are actually budgeted in our staff to cover the ones that are coming in. That would be possibly coming in.
But budgeted or we have employed?
Budget, we're still always hiring.
So
I mean, we're down.
that's a different, you
Yes,
still have to.
we're down 10. And we're always, corrections is always down. We're down 10. And we have plenty of people applying. So I'm saying as what the county has budgeted for and the space you have for, the jail can handle it and can do it. So that's just from my perspective of the jail.
When we toured Plymouth, Superintendent, we went into the first area and there was maybe 50 or 60 guys with one correction officer sitting in the middle. And then when we got to the high up, I think the number was 162 in the third phase that we saw. And there was 2 people, so I mean.
They do, so their standard was, national standard is 1 to 64 inmates. And for there, they were doing, anything over 70, they put 2 staff members on, I think it's over 70. So again, the units we have that are closed, we have budgeted for anyways with staffing, we can cover it in staffing. Just putting that.
I thought you needed 10 more.
I have 10 more that are still, yes, they're budgeted for, correct.
But you don't have those.
The bodies.
You don't have the bodies, right?
We're still hiring, but again, I just want to remind you, our staffing wise, even right now, we could handle it. you're always gonna have openings. You have other jails that have, West Coast Stratford County, they're 40% short on staffing and they're still able to manage, they're struggling. We would not be that same struggle. We're doing a lot better than the other jails.
We don't want to go back to that stage of mandatory overtime and going down that rabbit hole. Plus, we're trying to staff up we need to focus on staffing up for next door. Just,
No, I'm happy to further investigate the financial analysis of how this would affect us, and.
I'm only
offer some
requesting to
new
do the fact that at least, you know, politically, we've done our job and our due diligence, you know. I'm not saying I'm for it. I mean, I had a great conversation with a woman from Portsmouth last night. You know, and I told her my concerns and the superintendent heard my concerns. I don't know if this is the right venue for it. I look at this beautiful building, I look at Three Ponds, the campground with the new, I don't know if it's the right venue. I really don't know, but I think, due diligence, we have them come in. It looks good that we at least looked into it a little more. We don't have to change our decision. I haven't made a decision either way. I know we basically, when we talked about it last week, we said we would put it on hold for a year. It can still stay on hold for a year, but at least we bring them in and we listen to their spiel. So I would request that. If you say no, I'm still okay.
I'm good with bringing them in to talk to us.
okay.
I don't think it hurts anything, so.
Does anybody have any other new business or old businesses? No?
No.
Okay, we're moving on to public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? See another number of people in Zoom land, number of attendees? All right. Hearing none, we are moving into non-public session. So, I'll take a motion to enter into non-public pursuant to 91A:3, section 2, personnel matters.
So I'll make a motion with a non-public session in New Hampshire RSA 91-8:3, we'll move into personnel, and then I will add J, internal processes to it.
Second,
Any discussion? On the motion, Commissioner Tombrello.
Yes.
Commissioner Godu.
yes.
And I vote yes. So we'll start with the sheriff's department since they're here.
10:30.
9:15.
10:30.
Okay. Are we done?
Please.
What'd you say? Okay, we are back in public session after being in non-public session, and I'll turn to Commissioner Tombrello for a couple motions.
We went into non-public at 9:14 a.m. We exited non-public at 11:50 a.m. We had 5 items that we had, talked in the non-public, and I would make a motion to share the minutes for a period of indefinite because it determined that intelligence of the information likely would affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board.
Second,
Any discussion?
No.
Okay. On the motion, Commissioner Tombrello, Commissioner Godu.
Yes.
And I vote yes. One more motion, Commissioner Tombrello.
Make a motion to adjourn.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. So long, everyone.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Crazy day.